You have to do our intro.
Welcome back. Bienvenidos.
Yes.
I'm John.
I'm Sierra.
And this is And They Were Readers.
We should have said Soy John. Soy Sierra.
Boo.
Boo.
I hate saying
No,
Soy John.
Soy John?
Me amo. Me
Me amo.
amo Juan.
That makes more sense, I guess.
Yeah.
Me amo Juan. That's so funny.
What are we doing today?
Oh, I'm sorry.
That was not a rhetorical question. That was a
Blowing
question
on
for
my
you.
tea.
I saw.
So-
they did too. I'm gonna zoom in.
We were thinking about what to film, and as I was brainstorming, my dad was asking me questions about like bookish things that he was interested in knowing about us,
Yeah.
and I was like, that's a really good idea.
Yeah.
Let's ask each other bookish questions that we really want to know. So strap in for a chatty little conversation about books.
Yeah.
Why we love books,
Yeah.
what we would do if we were authors, things like
Oh.
that. So I set up a list of questions that I made up. We might not be able to answer all of them because we simply might not have an answer. Like I
That's true.
wrote them and I was like, I don't know what I would say to this. But yeah, I just took 2 minutes and blasted out 8 questions.
She did. Her fingers were flying.
Thank you.
She was
like that.
just like that.
And then I said, done.
Yeah.
Let's go watch TV.
Yep.
So we just ate lunch and it was really good. So one of the things that is true about our reading journey is we started about 3 years ago now.
Mm-hmm.
And we didn't read at all for years.
Yeah.
Okay? For fun.
Yeah.
So if you know our origin story, you know that we started reading on our own. We're
It
not
sounds
superheroes.
like a super villain.
Their villain arc.
Yeah.
Really though, because we read such sad books.
We do.
So 2-3 years ago, we started reading individually, did not know that each other was reading,
Correct.
and then fell into reading and talking about books and realizing, oh my gosh, we love to read similar things even.
Yeah.
So a lot of my friends who are readers love fantasy and sci-fi and love that. I just has never been a genre that I personally loved. You've gotten into it, which is great.
Yeah. I
But-
dabble.
We
That's okay.
we started reading books like Open Water by Caleb Azuma Nelson and If an Egyptian Cannot Speak English by Nurnaga. Books that were short and
Punchy.
just, and
but so well written.
what? So
Yeah.
I think one of the things I realized that we haven't done is kind of reflected on our reading and how we got here and what those books are, and just to ask some questions outside of the box about books that we enjoy. Not really just talking about specific books, but more about ourselves as readers. So
Wow. I just looking at the scene around us, it feels so chaotic. There's a box of ramen in the chair.
guys, okay, y'all who know
This is
this stuff, I don't know if it's gonna be in frame,
It
is
should
so good.
No, it is good.
So I buy it by the 20 pack, okay? It comes shipped to my house, so I can eat it minimum once a week.
It's just
okay.
funny that this room that we use as a quote unquote studio, what you can't see just feels like disarray. Things just around.
We have a full production.
Yeah. It takes a lot
takes a lot.
at And They Are Reader Studios.
Yeah.
But anyway, the questions.
Okay, so some questions that I wrote down. We're
Yeah,
gonna get into
I'm
them.
excited. I don't know what's happening.
Okay, so we're gonna start at the very beginning.
Yeah. A very good place to start.
John,
Yes.
what is one thing you're fond of about the start of your reading journey? When you go back to that feeling of getting into reading for the first time, what is something that you...
That's good. I feel like when you start your reading journey, when I started my reading journey, there's this a lack of pressure around the rating system.
Oh,
does that make sense?
That's a really good point. Yeah.
I feel like I'm much more hesitant to give 5 stars now.
Yeah.
Because you have so many other things to compare it to, which is good and bad.
Yeah, that's a good point.
The reason 7 Husbands of Evelyn Hugo got a 5 is because it was so early on.
It was one of the first fiction books you read.
Correct.
Yeah.
And you're you come into it with a sense of innocence. Your reading journey is so new, so fresh, and it's untainted by other people's opinions and other books that you've read. There was such an innocence, a freedom at the beginning of my reading journey that I don't think it's I don't feel restricted. I'm allowed to read whatever I want. Right?
Yeah, but I think that that's the point of the question is what happened at the very beginning that you loved that feeling of, and you can never get that again.
I won't get it again
because once you start something, you inherently have those opinions, biases, input from years of YouTube and also the books that you've read and the people that you talk to. When you're a reader and like, I can't say that. When you're a reader and nobody knows yet, and you're just like discovering it for yourself for the first time, no one influences you.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's like really cool.
Yeah. But I do also appreciate that, like, even having said that, the space that we've cultivated here does feel very safe and understanding.
And like when we get feedback on books, you guys in general are like really kind about it, and you all have a very grace-filled approach to providing information, and I really appreciate that.
I agree.
So if you ever have like a comment or a thought on books that is contradictory to what we have said, honestly, you'll find some of those comments, they like are great at it. There are some people who have done an excellent job of being very kind and respectful and teaching us about language and words and the way to like adapt. I've learned so much from you all. So thank you for those of you who have been really kind and respectful and have taught us in a really graceful way. Grace-filled way. So thank you.
What about you?
Okay, so for me, I had an answer and then we kept talking and I forgot.
It happens.
Let me think. Oh, I remember at the very beginning of my reading journey.
Yes.
I had not picked up a single book yet. And Jack Edwards came across my screen.
What a man.
And I was like, I want to read, but I don't know if reading's for me. And the way he started talking about books as literary, like the words on the page, I think it was one of his videos where he read from a book. And I was like, that was beautiful. Wait a second. And
like, that's books?
Yeah. And I think at the same time, I was like in my early 20s, and I was getting to a point in my life where I stopped caring about what people thought as much of me. Like, I still care about what people think because it's like, we live in a society.
Yeah.
Don't want to, like, do things that are rude.
Yeah, for sure.
But I think I started being like, oh, this image of what I had of what it means to, like, be a reader, I don't have to, like, live up to that. Like, I don't have to read every kind of book that's out there. I don't have to read 500 books a year. I don't have to read classics only. I don't have to read fantasy only. Like, once I realized that there's a whole world out there, and I don't have to be restricted to, like, a version of what I think a reader looks like, that was so freeing to me.
Yeah. No, I
so that was really cool. And at the same time, I texted my best friend Kai, who has been on the channel. I was talking to her on the phone or something, because she was living in Korea at the time, because it was during COVID. And she had watched Jack Edwards too. And I was like, you watched Jack Edwards? I watched Jack Edwards. What do you mean?
Yeah.
And we're like, oh my gosh, do we read? Like, it was a crazy moment. Like, something that I had with John too. But it was really cool to, like, just be like, it doesn't matter, does it? We can just read whatever we want.
Yep.
And if we get tired of a genre, we switch genres. It doesn't matter.
Yep.
So that's, like, one thing I'm really fond of.
That's crazy to think about too, because when you guys first told me about Jack Edwards, I was like so skeptical. I was like, what? So I'm going to watch somebody talk about books for like 25 minutes?
And now you do it.
And now I do it.
And now you talk about
books. I do. And I also, like, first I just fell in love with Jack and his videos. And then now I do it. So I really come full circle.
Okay, so still thinking about that beginning of your reading journey, is there anything you'd change about the beginning, knowing what you know now about books?
Anything I'd change about the beginning of my reading journey?
Yeah. I
don't think so.
Really? Cool.
I feel like the way I fell back into love with reading was very me. Like, I just found books. Because it started off with, I had these books on my shelves in college, and most of them I just hadn't read. And I one day looked at that, and I was like, I don't like that. I don't like that, like, people will come into my room and, like, ask, like, oh, what do you think about these books? And I'll be like, actually, I haven't read any of them. Like, what are they there for? Are they art? Yes.
But to be fair, so many people in our lives at that time had a lot of books that they didn't read. Like, no one in our life was a reader.
Yeah. But one day I think I just decided to start changing that. It was, like, right before the pandemic. So I started reading some of the books, and I was like, oh, these look good. They're thought-provoking and interesting. They weren't really, like, my books yet, but they were books that I had that I read and I learned from them. And then I grew from that into asking other people, like Kai, for example. She was, like, one of my prime book recommenders for a while. She recommended Anxious People, Demian, probably Little Fires Everywhere. Like, those kinds of books that got me, like, in the beginning were just from asking people. And then from there, I, like, made it my own and, like, found the communities and all that stuff. So I enjoyed that journey. I enjoyed the books I read during that time and, like, the foundation it set. Yeah.
Yeah, I would do the opposite.
Oh.
So the thing that I would change about the beginning of my reading journey is I would not have taken the advice of the books from the people around me.
Oh, what did you read that you did not like? Tell me.
It doesn't matter.
Okay.
I don't want to say it on the channel.
Okay.
But I I wish I had stuck with my gut and like watched Jack and chose the books based upon his recommendations, because I like don't love everything that he recommends, but I could have curated them really well because I knew myself really well, and I think I like wish I had done that.
There were some books in that time that I read that I didn't love.
I spent 6 months reading books I did not love.
Oh, okay, never mind.
You see what I'm saying? Like, I wish I had just jumped into books that I knew I loved.
Yeah.
And then
one of mine was What a Crawdads Sing, and I'll never forget.
Okay, who is one author you have not gotten to yet that you're really hoping to read at some point? I think that's a hard question because, like, how do you think of authors?
There's so many. I have one in my head because we just talked about them. It might be the same.
Who?
No. Mine's Claudia Pinheiro is what I was thinking of.
That's a good answer for you.
Thank you.
I agree.
Who were you thinking?
I just looked over there. Emily St. John Mandel is someone that I really want to read too.
Yeah, that's true.
But I think Claudia Pinheiro is a better answer.
I agree.
Like, I haven't read Maya Angelou.
Mm-hmm.
No, I have. That's all I do.
You read the poem.
No, and I read like a nonfiction work by her.
Oh.
Oh, Akwaeke Ameze is one that I do really want to read, and it's been on my list for a long time, and I have not gotten to any of her works yet, or their works.
There's another... Oh, I just read The Death of Vivek Oji.
Yes, I bought it for you because I've had that on my TBR for forever. It's over there.
Yes.
So...
Okay.
Oh. When you pick up a book...
Yeah.
This might not be like a thing that is true for you, so I don't know, like, if this is a good question or not, but I have a backup question if it's not. So when you pick up a book to read, what type of, like, feeling or emotion do you hope to experience when you open a book?
I don't really have, like, a feeling or emotion I hope to experience. I go into it, and I'm excited for the beginning parts of a book when you don't know what's going on.
Ooh, interesting. Yeah, okay.
Like the wonder that you have going in,
so
like...
feeling. Sorry, go ahead.
That's what I was looking for. Okay.
But I was just sorry. Go ahead. The wonder.
The wonder is the answer. Like, you're just starting a new journey. Like, you have no idea what's going to happen. Unless, like, you're in a series like I am now. You just kind of go into it blind, and you're excited to see what the author is going to do with the words on the page and the book that they've created, and all of a sudden you're just on this journey with these characters, and you're a part of it, and I enjoy that. Yeah. That's
beautiful.
Thank you.
There's a tummy feeling I get.
Oh.
Like my tummy acts
Your
up.
body reacts a lot more to things than mine does.
That's true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like your body, like, is engaged in your emotions.
It is, deeply. Yeah. So, like, when I'm reading words on a page and suddenly it was put together in a way that was masterful and meant something so deep to me, there is something that happens in my body. Like, only my body knows, and then I know that it was a good book.
Yeah.
It doesn't happen the other way around. I can't, like, force that feeling.
Yeah, no, right? I see. Yeah.
So, like, the words will happen, it'll be strung together, and I'm like, where's the pencil? Where's the highlighter?
Yeah,
like, I have to record this moment.
Okay. Yeah.
And that's when I'm like, if I have more than one of those moments in a book, it's probably a 5-star read for me.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't get that feeling very often.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, like, a lot of the 4.75 star books, like, okay, for In Memoriam, for example, excellent book. Yeah. I didn't get that feeling of, like,
yeah,
like,
that's fair though.
Yeah,
that's fair.
And so for me, like, my baseline has changed, and kind of like you were talking about how at the beginning of your reading journey you were just like a 5-star and a 5-star. Like, I've gotten very selective because I know how my body feels when I've read something brilliant. For me, but it's not true for everyone. Like, that same book, like, In Memoriam, could have given you that feeling.
Yeah.
And, like, that's what is beautiful about art, is that we are. That's what's beautiful about art to me, is that we are all moved by something different, but there are these laws that we have to play by to move one another. And I think that's so interesting. Yeah. That there's this set of rules that are arbitrary but yet exist for some human reason. Oh. But all of us are different in the way we experience them. And I think that's beautiful.
That could be extrapolated to so many different things. It's so deep. But yeah.
Yeah. So that is the feeling I look for.
Wow.
Cool.
That's crazy. I said, what did I say? Wonder? Cool of you.
That's good. That's good.
Let me just go over here. Anyway, next question.
Yeah, I have to write the questions, say the profile.
Yeah. She's really carrying this episode.
No, they might not like it.
That's fair.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, what is one genre you wish you loved?
Wish I loved. That's tough.
You can say none. She's going for it. I'll say mine.
Okay, yeah.
I really wish I loved sci-fi. I love sci-fi in movies.
You do.
And, like, television.
Yeah.
I wish I loved it in books. I also really wish I liked mystery. I liked mystery as a kid. Loved every Nancy Drew. every single one of them. And then
really moving those strings around. This is my hoodie that I gave her. The strings have never moved like that in my life.
Okay. I also love like mystery-based television shows. So like Psych, Castle.
You just like crime scene investigators?
Yes.
Okay.
I love them.
Okay.
I love it so much. I don't know what it is. I like a mystery. I like to solve it.
Okay.
Give me one
Do you
episode.
want to be
You
a
get the whole
cop?
thing. No.
A detective?
No.
Okay. Cool.
I can't be with dead bodies.
Oh, heard.
There's one time. Okay. You have thought of an idea? I give you a lot of time. I talk a lot.
I agree that you specifically. Calm down.
I agree that you. It sounds aggressive.
You like sci-fi on the screen, not on the page, because there's a lot of things that like movie magic can do that I just don't think is easy. Maybe for you to like imagine fully.
I can imagine it, but I want the pretty words, and you're just giving me descriptions.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Well, because sci-fi requires a lot of description because it's like all these things that don't exist.
Like, I don't care about that little lever right
the
there.
Issue. That little lever. Right? Lever. Thank you.
That's fair though.
I don't think there's a genre that I wish I enjoy more than I already do. I think where my genre like levels are at is pretty good. I dabble in fantasy. I dabble in sci-fi. I dabble in romance. Like I do.
You dabble do.
I don't dabble in mystery. I'm not a mystery guy, and I think I'm okay with that.
I love mysteries.
I think I'm okay with that. And I also don't really dabble in like horror. Like most Stephen King books, I probably won't get to. There are some that I know aren't horror, and I'm gonna get to them. Don't attack me. But yeah, I think I'm okay with where my genres are.
All right. What is a book that you wish you wrote that you've read?
Oh, there's so many.
Really?
There's so many. Open Water is number one.
I agree with
yeah.
you. Yeah.
I wish I wrote Open Water so bad. I read that and I was like, if you gave me like a few more years, I promise you I could have come up with this. Gave me a few more years, taught me a few instruments, I would have come up with this. Let me think what else.
I think I would have wanted to write Orbital.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, by Samantha Harvey.
Yeah.
And we've talked about it a lot recently, so I'm not going to go into it, but like to be able to articulate philosophical musings within the context of space, I think would be so cool. You can love a book and not wish that you wrote it.
Yeah.
I think there's something about that book that I was like, I wish I could think like this and write like this.
Yeah. Same with Open Water. There's gotta be more. I'm trying to like look at my shelves and be like, what? Imagine. Imagine.
Also, there's another book. Demon Copperhead.
Oh.
If you had written Demon... Okay, and the reason I say this might be too much tea, so you can cut it out.
Okay.
But, he was writing a book like 2 years ago.
I was.
And it's like not gone that very far. So like don't think that he's gonna publish a book soon. Okay.
No.
But as I was reading it, I fell in love with his writing style.
Wow.
And then I was reading Demon Copperhead a year later, and I was like, oh, this is a similar storyline at the beginning. But I liked his writing way more. And so I think like if you had written Demon Copperhead, I'd be curious as to like what would have happened with like the writing and that kind of thing.
I need to start writing again.
I really. So that leads me to my next question.
Oh.
If you ever decide to write, what genres do you want to write and why?
I like a lot actually. Like I could see myself writing like a sci-fi dystopia kind of vibe. I
totally could see you do that.
Yeah.
You love space and science too much.
I do like space and science.
And you love thinking about what would happen if.
Yes.
And being like really realistic with it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. I also like kind of like memoir vibes, or like slice of life kind of book. Yeah. And also like literary
character
fiction.
Study, literary type.
Literary type vibe. I think those are like the main ones. I don't really have any like ideas and musings about like fantasy and stuff, but sci-fi for sure. Like theoretical science and things like that. Like just culture.
I'm sorry, what?
Culture. Your turn.
So we read a lot of literary, so I think that's one of the reasons why I lean literary.
Yeah, of course.
If I were ever to write a book, I think I would want to do a novel with themes about like found family and friendship. Just because like that's my life, and obviously like we write from what we know. Yeah. But I think we have like our friendship in particular is really cool. Yeah. To like see on screen and like rewatch our videos and be like, oh my gosh, like that's us. We're like friends, you know? Like we got friendship right there.
Textbook friendship.
Textbook friendship right there. And I would just like love to write a story of like character study, slice of life kind of energy from that perspective. And then I want to do a collection of essays one day, I think. Oh. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. You like collection of essays, not a collection of short stories, which is always my brain.
It's okay.
It is okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have some essays that I've been like sitting on for 5 years that I want to write, but I haven't figured out the exact way to frame them yet. So they'll just sit in my brain and on my notes app until the time is right. And I'm so okay with that.
What I've learned though from like master classes from Roxanne Gay specifically is just to start writing them.
I've written some of them.
Okay.
But like I am doing so much academic writing right now. And this would not be under my academic writing. I would write a handful of these essays under like a different name kind of thing. So. Okay,
that was the last question?
Yeah.
Wow. Thanks for chilling with us. That was a different kind of video, I guess.
Yeah. What are like some of your fondest moments from starting to read? Like a lot of you I think have been reading since you were little. So I'd love to hear any stories you'd like to share with us about your reading journeys and how you got here. Why you ended up liking our content. Like, is it the types of books we read? Like, what kind of books do you enjoy? And how'd you end up in that genre? That kind of thing. I would love to hear.
Wow. Thanks for watching. Like and subscribe, and we'll catch you in the next one.
Bye.
See ya.
There we go.
Every time the charm.